What's up, everybody? Chris back again from Top Notch Sports. This is another top 10 edition, only this will be on NFL pass rushers. You guys know my criteria by now. It's just I'm going to reverse, and I'm going to go from 10 to 1 now. I think it's a little bit better that I have you guys waiting to see who's number 1, so it's a little more suspenseful. So number 10, I'm going to go Justin Smith. I think this guy, you could even move him up your list, and you got a real legit argument. But when I look at Smith, he was banged up last year, so that's one thing. But you saw his impact when he wasn't playing. That defense in San Francisco, they struggled. They did struggle. They had a problem pressuring the quarterback. Their defense wasn't what it was. He's a big anchor for that defense, and that presence on the three-man front, it takes a couple guys to block him. He'll change the protection, and the more attention put on him, the other rushers can get to the quarterback. As you see with an Aldon Smith, it makes Aldon Smith's life a lot easier. So I'm going to put him at number 10. Number 9, I'm going to go Julius Peppers. So consistent, very consistent football player, done it his whole career, and he's such a talented pass rusher. He's got so many ways to get to the quarterback. Fantastic athlete, so he can get past you. In terms of using his athletic ability, like his moves, maybe his jukes, maybe eluding you rather than always trying to beat you down into the turf. So he's that, plus the fact that very big, strong guy. Not that all these guys are, but the way he uses his strength and is able to use leverage, use his size. He can push you back. He's a great rusher, and that. So he's like that dual threat. In that aspect of it, I think you got to have him in your top 10. Fantastic pass rusher. Number 8, I'm going to go Jared Allen. Relentless player. Every play that this guy, he's coming. He's lining up right across from you, and he seems like he just gives linemen a heart attack out there. He's that defense's identity. That defense never really had a great secondary, not really a great back end, but this guy he's the remedy for it all, because this guy, year after year, again, no matter who's around him, good defense, bad defense, puts up his stats and gets the quarterback time after time, forces the quarterback into bad decisions, or if that quarterback wants to hold on to that ball, he's in the turf. So I think you got to have him in there. Phenomenal defensive player. Number 7, I'm going to go Ndamukong Suh. This guy's a very dominant pass rusher. 19 career sacks as an interior defensive lineman. Really, that's all I should have to say. But just like Justin Smith, I think he's a better version of Justin Smith. His ability to break down a defensive line just from the interior, and he gets the sacks himself. But that allows all the other guys in the defensive line get pressure. Hence, that's why they have they are notorious for having a top pass rush, particularly with the front 4. So I think you got to have him up there. I got him at number 7. Number 6, I'm going to go Aldon Smith. Such a gifted pass rusher. Like I said with Peppers, only he is a linebacker, a 3-4 scheme they run out in San Francisco. But he can, the element of you don't know where he's coming from, that's a big thing. He can push you back, knock you back with his strength, or he's a very athletic guy. So he can use his athleticism to get past you. So just a very gifted rusher, very consistent, been the sack leader, the NFC sack leader back-to-back seasons. So I look at that, but the only reason I don't have him in top 5 is because his production really dipped when Justin Smith wasn't there, who would get that pressure on the defensive line, on the interior, and open that outside up for Justin Smith. So when I see something like that, that makes me say that person's great, but I'm sure there's some players who could maybe do it better than him. So I'm gonna have to put him at number 6. Number 5, I'm gonna go Geno Atkins. Fantastic defensive tackle. The leader of that defense. He represents the defense's identity. Their defense is known, like I said with the Lions, for that front 4 really getting in there, beating down an offensive line, and putting the quarterback in the turf on a consistent basis. And you see announcers, a lot of times they mention, this is a great no name or lack of household name defensive front. Why do those no names, who are, those not household names, not that I'm not, I mean, they might be underrated, but who are really average, maybe slightly above average defensive linemen, why are they looking like great players? It's because a guy like Geno Atkins constantly gets double teamed, constantly, gets immense attention from an offensive line, that it opens it up for all the other guys to maybe get a one-on-one situation, to maybe get a free rush at the quarterback. So I think, if you take Geno Atkins off that defense, those guys who are considered non-household names, I don't really think they overachieved like they have. So I'm going to have to say that his value would be top 5 at the number 5 spot for me. Number 4, Clay Matthews, relentless player, great overall linebacker, but as a pass rusher, way up there. Top pass rusher, of course, in my opinion. And when I look at him, the defense was top tier, and he was unstoppable. The defense now is bottom tier, and he's a fantastic player. So whether the guys around him have been good or great, the guy's still a fantastic football player. The guy was unstoppable when he had a good supporting cast on the old defense, the Super Bowl winning defense. So, and they're not good now, and he's still great. So just imagine if they could get back to top form, how unstoppable this man's going to be. I think you got to have him in your top 5. Phenomenal football player. I got him at number 4. Number 3, I'm going to go DeMarcus Ware. Every year is a great year for this guy. I mean, it doesn't matter who's around him. It doesn't matter if the Cowboy defense was solid, like when they were 13-3, or they were horrible, like the year that they lost to the Giants in the NFC East Championship game in Week 17. They had a really, really bad defense, particularly a secondary, but no matter what, no matter who's there, the guy every year is a top pass rusher. No matter what. It doesn't matter who's around him. It doesn't matter if there's injuries. Like this year, Sean Lee, one of the better linebackers in the game, his teammate gets hurt. DeMarcus Ware still puts up solid numbers. I mean, the guy's great every single year. Consistent. Fights back from injuries. Franchise player for the Cowboys. One of the best franchise players they've ever had. I think you got to have him pretty high in your top 5. So I got him at number 3. Number 2, I got Von Miller. I acknowledge he's been suspended for performance-enhancing drugs. I don't condone that at all. I acknowledge that he cheated, but his numbers aren't being erased from the record books. His first 2 years in the NFL aren't being erased from the memory. So based on what he did his first 2 seasons, I hate that he cheated. But based on what he did his first couple seasons, I really see his value. 18.5 sacks last year. That's phenomenal. But that defense, they can't do what they can do without a guy like Von Miller, because that defense is predicated on getting to the quarterback. When that defense doesn't get to the quarterback, and I mean like fast, like usual, that secondary has been proven they could be had. Like the Ravens proved, that defense, that secondary, that back end isn't quite as good as what you would think outside of Champ Bailey. So this guy, when he just is every single play relentless, getting to the quarterback, forcing him into bad decisions, or putting him in turf on a consistent basis, you don't really notice that. So this guy's value is just unquestionable. I think he's suspended the first 6 games. I expect a struggle from this Broncos defense. The guy's a great player. Number 1, I think this is pretty undoubtable at this rate. J.J. Watt. This guy is phenomenal pass rusher. And I consider him a dual threat rusher. And there's kind of 2 dual threat rushers, when it comes to mind. You could get past someone with your elusiveness and your agility, or just you can bull rush him. I see both with him. But by the other dual threat, he's going to get after the quarterback, and if you block him, you stay on your block, he's still going to hurt you, because he's great at batting down balls. He's the best at that. So when you look at that, That's just, you can't get much better than that, all in the intangibles. But then you see he fights every single play. You know that he's coming at you. You know he's lined across from you, and he gets doubled. He gets cut. He gets great crazy attention. Anything, and the guy still put up 20.5 sacks. Supposedly he wasn't even 100% healthy last year. That's crazy. That's insane. Guy's not even in his prime yet. I think he's the best pass rusher in the NFL. He does absolutely everything. Without him on that Texans defense, they'd still be all right, but that pass rush wouldn't be what it was, because he doesn't even have that much help on the pass rush. Since the Mario Williams departure and Brian Cushing getting hurt, and the guy still had it, I want to say, an absurd season. So that's my top 10, and I would love to discuss the top 10 with you guys, and keep spreading my videos throughout the public, and I thank you for watching.